Okay, well, welcome to Afro Comic-Con, the horror panel, and today we are going to be talking about social commentary in horror. And we have some amazing people. We have the horror novelist and screenwriter, Kenesha Williams. Say hello.
All right.
Hello, everyone.
And we have the creepy director. No, wait, that sounds bad. It sounds like you're like stalking me. We have the talented spooky director, Katz Carter. Say hello, Katz.
Hey, Afro Truck was creepy though, so.
Awesome. And of course, the maker of a very creepy web series, Shreco Bakari. Did I say it right?
You did.
Oh my God. Awesome. Say hello.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good, good. So I'm so glad that you all could join us. What I really wanted to talk about was, since we are in a horror renaissance, we have films like The Babadook, Midsummer, we have The Shape of Water winning Oscars, we have Get Out, we have Us. What do you all think is the reason for this amazing renaissance, and why is it all Jordan Peele's fault?
I mean, personally, I think that Jordan Peele added, I don't want to say sophistication, but I mean, in the past, like 80s, like horror, it was campy. Like, I'm a huge Freddy Krueger fan over Jason, only because he's like very sarcastic and I love his character. But there's a lot of horror films that is literally just slasher films and not actual substance or story. And a lot of horror films now actually has like story. My favorite horror films has like a really good story. Dead Silence has like an amazing story and a nice twist at the end of that. And Jordan Peele, like his thing is just it's story. For me personally, it's just all story.
Nice. Kenesha, what's your opinion?
I think it's the political climate that we're in. You know, I think horror has always been used in social ways. I mean, even some of the slasher films, you know, when you think about how they were kind of commenting on like teen sexuality in like tiny ways, because, you know, the virgin would always live and, you know, the sluts die first, you know, and things like that, you know. So it's like, I think that, you know, we are in such a political climate, and, you know, there's a lot of horrific things just happening in the real world, you know, and you kind of want to make sense of it or make it easier. It's easier to digest in horror because, you know, you can turn off the movie and then that horror's gone, even though you know, you go look outside and there's still, you know, Donald Trump is still president, you know, so like stuff like that, you know?
Right?
She said it. She said it. She said it.
So I think that's why, and like you said, Jordan Peele, I mean, you know, Get Out was social commentary. You know, I love the fact that it wasn't like blatant racist that was doing the evil doing. You know, he was making a commentary even on people that proclaim to be liberals and proclaim to be about, you know, equal opportunity, and showing that, you know, even people who we think are allies can have, you know, this underbelly. So yeah, it's all his fault.
You know, like
I love that. Yeah.
You know, the background behind Get Out, he said in an interview that what's scary to him is being the only Black person in the room. And that spawned the idea of Get Out. He was like, that's scary.
Yeah.
What I also find to be historically significant about that piece is that Martin Luther King said, he was less afraid of the outright racist screaming at us and more afraid of the white American that was like, I just want to go back to normal. He was trying to tell us this person is the problem. They will stand in the way of progress because they don't want their little lives to change. I just thought that was intriguing. Shreco, how do you think? What are you seeing about all this commentary?
Well, I mean, even with horror as a whole, you know, when you mentioned The Shape of Water and The Babadook and all of those films and things of that nature, it's always more than one way to tell a good story, if that makes sense. And
Totally, yes.
Katz was saying earlier, you know, we're used to the slashers and the campy stuff, and and Kenesha was mentioning about, you know, the social dramas and things of that nature. It's always more than one way to tell a story. And even in horror, we're so used to seeing one thing. Now we have a variety of writers and directors, Black writers and directors, coming forth and telling as a horror drama story, or a horror comedy story, or a horror thriller, anything. I'm glad that people nowadays are straying away from the cliche stuff and coming up with more, how do I say this? Coming up with more things that are pushing the boundaries with today's society. And not only that, showing us what they see instead of what has already been done, if that makes sense. I get tired of seeing the same thing over and over. And a lot of writers and producers and even directors, you know, nowadays, they're afraid to go above and beyond with those boundaries and pushing those limits to tell a different side of horror, you know, with still staying within the horror genre. And I'm super, super proud and glad that now in 2020, like, we have a variety of different horror films telling different stories that are completely terrifying, whether it's, like you just said, dealing with political views, or dealing with racism, or dealing with police brutality, or even dealing with everyday life. And I love that, because that's what terrifies me more, seeing what you see instead of what other people expect you to do, if that makes sense. They're in this thing where it's like, no, you have the rules of horror. You got to do this, 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 and this. It has to be this. It has to be this long, and you have to have this line, this line, this line. If it's not, then it's not horror. I call bullshit, because if you're going to do that,
we all call bullshit on that.
If you're going to do that, that means you're not being your creative self. That means we're not seeing what talent God is giving you as a horror director or horror writer, or even an actor or an actress. We're seeing what society expects you to do. And that also leads into, quote unquote, with African Americans doing stuff outside of the box. They, you know, it is what it is. They'll say, oh, no, you're supposed to do it this way. If you kind of clean it up and do this, then, you know, it'll go further. Bullshit again. I'm going to do it my way. You're not going to put me in a box because of my skin color or how I write. I'm going to show you exactly who I am through my art. And I'm glad Jordan Peele can do that. Most definitely, he is one of my biggest inspirations when it comes to writing, because he makes you think. And if a horror film can make you think, but then also scare you, because like, holy crap, when I saw Us, I was like, that really made me think really, really hard. I'm like, holy crap. I started looking like, okay, I need to kind of take a look at myself a little bit more, other people as well too. Like, it really makes you think. Yeah. So does Get Out. Those films really, they twist your brain, and they're like, look at this, and tell me what you see about yourself and the society that you live in today, but in a very entertaining form. A lot of films can't do that. They couldn't do that back in the day.
So let me put this out here. And this is for everyone. When you go to write, create, I don't care if it's a script, I don't care if it's a short film, web series, film. Do you think about the social commentary first and incorporate it in as an ancillary story, as a bias, or does it just come out of your storytelling? And I'm going to shoot this first over to Katz.
It comes out through storytelling. Like I do not think about that at all, to be honest. Me personally, it is about the art, and it's about getting my voice out there. It just so happened, you know, I'm a product of my environment. And so it just comes out like easily.
Mm-hmm. And I know that when you were doing your film, the last one you finished, remind me.
Method. Hashtag full method.
Yes, yeah. Yes. So which is essentially a commentary on Hitchcock's Rope.
Yeah, it is, and which even back then, that particular movie was controversial because the two guys were gay.
Yeah,
and that was,
and it was about this Leopold Loeb kind of basically looking at their privilege, that they were so incredibly privileged that they didn't even think other people were human beings.
Exactly, and they thought that they were elite because they have the capacity to kill somebody and get away with it
because of their wealth and their so
and their stature.
Thank you, Kenesha. When you as you're building novels, and I know that you have like young adult novels, you have adult novels, you have screenplays. Do you think about that first, or is it like Katz? Does it just come out of your story and characters?
It kind of just comes out because, like you said, you know, I'm a product of my environment. You know, I like to do Black female main characters because I'm a Black female, and you know, growing up, you know, we weren't the leads. We weren't the leads at all. So I like making, you know, myself or my avatar or my friends and family, you know, the leads, people that look like me. So it just comes out of it. And it's funny when you were just talking about his film and about privilege and that making someone feel like they're better than other people because they can kill. It's a theme that, you know, I can't do the timeline of it, but you know, a lot of films play into that, you know. A lot of the films that use like secret societies and them killing people, it's usually the rich, the elite, the white, you know, because they are able to get away with things in society that we're not able to do. So I think that's like a great theme to play with, that a lot of people, obviously it touches a lot of people because they have that feeling like, I would never be able to get away with this. Like, hate to harp on presidential elections and things like that.
Harp on it, girl, harp on it.
But you know, I cannot tell you how many times in the last 4 years I've been like, if Barack did that, you know, like the whole country would explode, you know. so like the privilege, you know, is real, you know, and so seeing that in film, you know, it's something that everyone has to acknowledge that privilege exists. We know that there are people that can get away with things that we can't get away with. I mean, you know, Epstein got away with so much up until now. And what was cushioning him? You know, privilege, power, wealth, you know, all of that. So, you can't help but be influenced by your environment, and the environment that we live in is one that is stratified socioeconomically and racially.
I very much resonate with everything you just said, and I was reminded that one of our oldest educational institutions, Yale, they have an organization, the Skull and Bones Club, where you're literally at this most elite institution. And what they do is they literally go out and harvest the bones and skulls of Native people. Yeah, and it's fun for them because they're wealthy and they get to. So like in many ways, our country is based on this very, very creepy concept that privilege means we can do horrible things and yet we're still good people. Shreco, how does that hit you? And especially how does it hit you with your series and the project you have now?
Well, I think it's kind of a little bit of both, because I think about myself as a writer, but I also think about other people, even people that are not so good. How do they fit into this thing? What do they think? Because pretty much that's what makes up a good story. Your point of view and trying to kind of get in the head of that antagonist, or quote unquote real life antagonist as well too. So I kind of think about both. That's just me, because it helps me develop my story, not only for my liking, but also other viewers as well, because I know a lot of viewers like to have a piece that's going to make them think and be entertained to the very, very end. So if we're going to do that, then it can't be all about what I think or what I believe. That's why before I start writing, I always I do surveys. I take a little survey from this person, that person. I'll ask questions, even off the wall questions, and even to some people who are quote unquote not a fan of our melanin. And that's just that. I do. And I take that chance. I take that risk because I want to be able to tell a very solid story. So when people say, Shreco, how did you do that? And I'm like, well, this is some real life shit. Like, I really went out and did this. I really asked certain people. I knew they weren't fond of what I do or my skin color or whatnot, but I still want to know your piece so that way you can help me win a fucking Emmy. You know what I'm saying? Or pave the way for other people like myself, or you know what I'm saying? So I do believe it's a little bit of both, and I do agree with what they both said as well, because they are 100% correct. However, I just do things a little bit differently. I add in, people scratch their head like, why in the hell would you do that? Why would you go talk to so-and-so and so-and-so? Well, that's what gave me all of these awards. So yeah.
There we go. Nice. So I was thinking the other day that like our zombie films tend to, in many ways, bring up our fears of disease, our fears of how much we have impacted the planet. And it's been such a big trend, like zombie films. And I'm wondering what you guys think the next trend is, based on the fact that now we're living through a pandemic. Now we are actually dealing with people that want to infect us, the maskers that'll, anti-maskers that'll walk up and want to spit on you. It's like, whoa, zombie apocalypse nightmare. Like, what do you guys feel the next, I don't know, trend in horror is? Because I was kind of thinking vampirism, only because we're getting to deal with classism again. And that was a big thing in the 80s. So I was thinking vampires. What are you guys thinking? Let's go the other way. Shreco, what are you thinking the next big trend is?
To be honest with you, I believe trends happen sporadically, if that makes sense. You got to think about 2016 with the damn clown sightings. Like, no one was
I forgot about that.
No one was concerned about damn clowns until this guy in Ohio decided to dress up. And then you have sightings in California. When I was in North Carolina, it had 10 sightings. You know what I'm saying? And then you got New Jersey, New York, and Florida, and then Georgia. I'm like, what the hell? Just to be honest with you, it just happens with someone doing something so ignorant, or with a very, very traumatizing event, like police brutality, or the political shit that we're going through now, with the government and Donald Trump and the supporters who support him and whatnot. I do believe it happens on significant things as well too. So it's like a mixture of both. Some people, they'll wait till something happens, like, oh, let's jump on this bandwagon. And hell, that ignorant ass just started something. You just started a whole trend. Then we got It, the remake of It. Then we got the It Chapter 2. And then we got Clown by Eli Roth. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I honestly, I do believe it's when people do things that are off the wall and it scares the hell out of us, they jump on that like, oh, that's a moneymaker. Let me go ahead and do that. Like with this pandemic, with the disease and stuff that's going on, like, that's killing people. They're turning that into moneymakers with zombies and airborne thrillers and things of that nature. Seriously, they really are. So I believe it starts with whatever comes up, or whatever quote unquote the government throws out there. It is what it is.
The next big. All right, so one vote for vampires here. Shreco's voting for next stupid human trick.
Pretty much.
Let's kick Kenesha. What do you think the next big trend is?
So I think it's going to be some anti-vax horror, right? Because we're really close to the vaccine right now, right? A lot of people are afraid of taking the vaccine. One, because it seems like it came about really fast, like way too fast. Secondly, our community has been used as guinea pigs, right? Tuskegee experiment, So I'm thinking something in that vein, vaccine gone wrong. Also, a lot of people have moved from Facebook because it's so liberal to a more conservative site, right? So I'm thinking those anti-liberals people will start to want to appeal to them, right? Because they are a big demographic. I mean, look at how many people still voted for Trump, right?
Yes.
So I'm thinking some anti-liberal type of horror. I forgot the film that it was coming out and then they pulled it back because
The Hunt.
The Hunt.
Yes,
Yes.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right. So I'm thinking something in that vein where the liberals are the bad guys, you know, so that they feel like we're thinking right. You know, it's you guys that are, you know, the bad guys. So I'm thinking anti-vax and anti-liberal horror coming up next.
I like that.
Nice.
I like that.
All right. So we have vampires, stupid human trick, anti-liberal. Katz Carter, what do you think the next big trend is?
Literally, my mind was going everywhere. So, all right. So come with me on this journey of my mind.
We're coming.
So I absolutely love vampires. It's like, I really seriously love it. I don't think that's the next big thing. I want it to be honest with you. I really do. But American Horror Story did a thing called Cult. And it was anti-Trump, basically, because the writers hated Trump. And so I'm like, okay, I see where they're getting at. So more into the cult and more into the purge, sort of. Like, we make it like some of the lines of the purge, maybe, because you know, you do have white America that's pissed off right now. And they want to just have one day, they can just kill liberals.
Yeah.
It's just one day of the year we can just go out and just kill every
Oh,
so
and you
I'm
can
leaning
hunt
towards
in
that.
zoos. Yeah.
And you can hunt in zoos. So there's that, but also I site. It's because of COVID.
Yeah.
It's like an alien parasite in the human body. I think that might be like a big thing. It's just
nice. All right, I love all these concepts. So to wrap up, I would love for just each of you to just give me like one sentence or two about why horror is important, and then tell us where we can buy your books, watch your movies, see your things in film festivals, because we all want to follow your awesome work. So let's start with Shreco. One sentence or so on like why horror is important, like why it's important information for us.
Horror is important because I believe it allows us to escape the real world and dive into something that we know is based on true events that will scare the hell out of us, but it gives us time to breathe and, you know, joke about it and get scared in a good way. Or B, hell, everybody just loves it. They want something different. They don't want to see drama and comedy and stuff. They want to see blood, guts, and cults and all that stuff. So it gives them a chance to escape into some type of demonic place. It's like almost going through a haunted house almost. You want to be scared. You want to escape the reality and have your adrenaline running and have your heart racing. So I believe horror is important because it's fun. It's fun for people.
Awesome.
They want to escape the reality.
I agree. And where can we see your lovely series,
next
project?
Awesome. So yes, you can see my amazing found footage horror anthology series called The Ominous Project Universe Presents, and it is available on the on-channel streaming service. They are now having subscriptions for $1.99, and you can see my entire series, episode 1, 2, 3, and the newest Halloween special, Monsters Are Real. I'm super excited, and it's the whole series as a whole. We started the series in April at the start of the pandemic with, quote unquote, a zombie found footage episode. And and from there until now, total with the 4 episodes, we have accumulated almost 150 awards from April until now, and still going. And my next project is, as they were stating earlier, the next episode we are doing is based on, quote unquote, cult. So it is based on it's based on witches, and the theme of it is college fraternities and sororities. So that is the main theme of that, and it's my very first horror comedy, and it is very raunchy, very mature adult and very American Pie. So
I'm down.
I can't wait till that comes out so people can see it.
I'm so down. So down.
We will be watching that.
Yes.
All right, Katz Carter, tell us in a sentence, if you can, why is our genre important? Just the heart of it, the pith of it. Why is it important?
Well, I go more dark with it. I think it's escapism. I mean, yeah, adrenaline, but sometimes you just in your mind, you're in line at Disneyland. It's like, I want to kill these people. Like, I kind of want to strangle this person and be okay with that. Like, you know, like you watch these movies and it's like you live it vicariously through the purge. And, you know, through certain things. And I think a lot of people, it's really just a way for me not to kill you. Express that through this
Everyone,
movie.
Katz Carter has just confessed to this. Is actually a secret serial killer. We're going to keep it on the down low for him. His friends and
I appreciate that. I am a mama's boy. I appreciate that.
That's big fact.
Tell us, yes. And tell us, so like your project, your next project, where can we see your awesomeness?
Thank you. I'm in the process of building a website for my short film of Film Method. So hopefully that will be at the end of the year. And and right now I'm working on another project, another psychological thriller about the trend is everybody's living the same day over and over like Groundhog Day. So somebody's in purgatory. And it's called Hotel California, and it's based upon the song.
Awesome.
So I'm taking the lyrics of the song and turning it into a repeat. This guy just going through hell.
All right, I already like it. That's awesome. Kenesha Williams, we will finish with you. One sentence or so, if you can. Why is our genre important? Why does it matter? Why is it such a big deal?
I think horror kind of goes into that primal fight or flight, you know, response that we have. And I think it's instructional, right? Because I know I'm not going into that creepy ass dark basement if the light doesn't work, right? I'm not doing it. I've seen it enough. I'm not doing it, you know, like I know what weapon I need to pick up if the purge starts happening, you know, so it's kind of instructional. You know, it's like, okay, let me okay. All right, that's how you get away. Okay, I'm not gonna like cut my eyelids off though to get away from Freddy, but you know, all of the other stuff is, you know, instructional. So I'm gonna go. It goes back to our like caveman instincts of telling stories that tell you not to touch the fire. You know, telling you how to get away from that mastodon. You know, so it's like our new cave paintings. You know, so it's primal. It's primal.
Beautiful. I love that and resonate with it. Tell us about your latest book coming out. Where can we get it? Where can we get our hot little hands on it?
So I'm on Amazon. You can search my name. My website, if you go to KeneshaIsDope.com, that has like a little bit of everything that I do on there. And then my latest, for people who love vampires, is Blood Debt. It is a Black vampire story where the Black vampires are daywalkers because we have melanin. Because we have melanin.
That's my idea. I got an idea. That is my idea. Do you do your audiobook? I'm down here.
Okay. Yeah, I actually have who I want to narrate my audiobook because she's narrated a story on the Nightlight podcast for one of my stories before, so she's a great narrator. So I am going to get it an audiobook, yeah. So that's my current one. I'm working on a YA horror right now that deals with voodoo gone wrong, but going back more to the actual roots of voodoo as a religion versus the stick a pin in you know, your eye.
The demonization of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, awesome. Well, it's been wonderful getting to hear your perspectives and getting to see all your wonderful projects. I will say that one of the reasons I love horror so much and how I got drawn into it was that we all know that monsters exist. Horror tells us that we can fight them, and sometimes we win. Fucking love that.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right, awesome horror people. Can't wait to see your amazing projects. We will have more of these Zooms. But until next time, I will bid you adieu. All right, guys. Love you. This has been Afro Comic-Con 2020 virtual with some amazing horror people. All right. Until next time, awesomeness.